Hi Legion, John Hitler, co-founder of Evoking Genius and co-creator of the Genius Discovery Process, with another edition of Pure Genius. Thinking of hiring a coach? Very common practice these days. Who do you hire? How do you know? How do you know you hired the right person to get your money's worth? Well, today on Pure Genius, very simple. We're going to give you 3 very straightforward questions that help you hire the right coach and be confident that you're going to get a great return on your investment. Want to play? Great, let's spin the big wheel. Okay, before we ask the tough questions to the coaches, first we're going to ask some tough questions of you. Here's the trick. When you're investing in coaching, like anything, you could invest in a new staff member, or a piece of equipment, or a new copier, or a new car. You have to say, what's the real cost of my investment? Well, the first one is time. So I got my time invested. Your time's valuable. Think of coaching, we do it twice a month for 90 minutes. So it's 3 hours a month, and it's the time in between that you're shifting and changing your life. So it's a reasonable investment of time. You know how to quantify that. Obviously you're going to write a check. You're going to invest some money. I'll leave that one alone because that one's pretty self-explanatory. But perhaps the biggest investment is what I'll call focus. And when I say focus, yes, you have 2 scheduled meetings a month with your coach, or maybe you have weekly meetings, maybe you have monthly meetings. The real focus is what happens in between your coaching sessions, because that's when you're going to be making shifts and changes and trying things, and it requires focus. Is it outside of your normal life? No, it's actually in context of you living a great life, but there's a shift in focus. And the easy way to think about this is, imagine you get a new video game for your Xbox or for your PlayStation or whatever version you use, and you focus for 2 weeks on this new game. You're going to get better, aren't you? It only comes with the focus and the time needed to invest in that focus that you get better. So know your investment before you start. Time, money, and focus. Secondly, you've got to do homework on yourself. Before you hire a coach, do your homework. And by this, I mean be very specific about what you'd like to get out of a coaching partnership. If you walk in and just say, everybody in our company is doing it, we have a budget for it, I want to hire a coach, not a very good reason, because you don't have any specific items you'd like to shift, transform, or redesign. The more you have and the more specific they are, the better off you are. So let's say, for instance, you'd like to double your income from 150 to 300. Very specific outcome. And here's the trick. It's something you don't know how to do on your own. So, great reason to get a coach. If you want to raise your income 10%, you probably already know how to do that. If you want to drop 5 or 10 vanity pounds, Google it and you can do it on your own. When you want to drop your weight from 220 to 170 and you yo-yo dieted or had tough time in the past, chances are a coach is a good investment because they'll help you to become literally a different human being with different practices and get what you want. That's when you hire a coach. The trick is for you to be very specific about what you want. And the list could be business or personal. Our take is that your business is simply a vehicle for you to live a great life. Your business, you're not all about your business. And I promise you, whatever you shift, we have a rule. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if you drop from 220 to 170 in your weight, guess what? It's going to shift all of your relationships. It's going to shift your leadership style. It's going to shift other habits. You won't even know what those are until you start that process. But the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So you'll get all kinds of secondary and tertiary benefits as long as you're specific about what you want. Does that make sense? Great. The real trick, though, be specific and know that these are things you cannot or have not been able to produce on your own. It's a good reason to hire a coach. All right, so now let's get into the meat of it. You're going to write a check monthly for somewhere between $100 for a super low-end coach, or maybe as much as $10,000 a month for a really high-end Uber coach, or an overinflated megalomaniac, I would call that. Nah, I'm just kidding. There are coaches that are worth that. Well, 3 questions you should ask. First one, if you're having your muffler done, or you're at a dry cleaner's, or you buy something from Amazon, what's one of the reasons you do that? They have a money-back guarantee. Shouldn't coaching have that too? Ask the coach this specifically. Is there a money-back guarantee if I'm not happy? Coaches don't like when I give this advice to the public, because coaches don't like to give a money-back guarantee. The truth is, if you go 6 or 7 months in coaching, it's not fair to then say, I'm not happy, I want my money back. But if you go a month, or you go 2 months, and you say, this just isn't working and I'm not seeing the changes, you're not blaming the coach, you're not blaming yourself, you're just saying, this isn't for me, I'd like my money back. Just like Amazon, or just like your car mechanic, they should give you your money back. So ask the question, is there a money back guarantee if I'm not happy? Any good coach, really any good business person who does not have a money back guarantee shouldn't be in business. Period. End of story. Wow. Okay. Second one. What's the return on investment if I invest in coaching? Fair enough. If you invest in a new machine for your office, or you invest in a new employee, let's say you bring in a general manager or a VP of sales, you don't hire a VP of sales for 100 grand and say, I sure hope they bring in $100,000 worth of revenue. No, you bring in a new VP of sales because the investment in their salary and benefits and accoutrements should net much larger than that. You want them to increase sales by $1 million or $1.5 million because you finally have capability that you didn't have before. Coaching is no different. You should have a return on investment for the money, time, and focus that you put in. So what's fair? Well, I'll go to a reliable, or I won't say reliable, I'll say reputable, a reputable source. Forbes magazine did a study on this, not even that recently, 3-4 years ago, and said the average return on investment per key executives was 7 times the money invested. So you invest $1,000 a month, it should be netting you, or you should be getting value on par with $7,000 a month. Wow. If your organization invests $100,000 in a coaching and training program, they should get $700,000 return on that investment. Why not? Same return on investment you'd expect from a VP of sales, wouldn't you? You'd hire them for 100 grand and trust that they would increase sales in your organization maybe by 7 or 750 or $1 million. Not unusual. Here's our take. We think it should be something more like between 7 and 10x. So if you invest $10,000 a year, you should expect a $100,000 return on your investment. Fair enough? But it's a tough question for coaches to deal with, and they don't like it. Because their take is, I'm not in charge of producing the results. You're not. But the coach is in charge of making sure that the client is fully capable, prepared, and aware enough to make changes in their own life. The coach never enters the field. They don't play the game. The client does. But the coach's job is to make sure that the players are fully prepared to win. And a good coach is worth their money if they do that, and they're not worth it if they don't. That'll show up in the return on investment. So ask, what's the return on investment for coaching? If they don't have one, or they don't like the question, I wouldn't hire them. Don't hire them. Got it? Third one, last question. What should I expect from coaching? I mean, as somebody who's hiring a coach, I've never had a coach before. What should I expect? Well, your job as the client, as the person being coached, is to show up ready to play and be open for change. Because if you're coming in saying, well, I want you to fix me, but I'm not willing to do any of the hard work, you're not going to get any results. The coach will be frustrated, you'll be frustrated, and you're not going to do very well. But if you come in ready to play, open-minded, and ready for change, then you're going to be in good shape to get results. But what should you expect? Well, I would expect, let's put it in context. Let's say you're making 150 grand. If you go in for your performance review and you get a 5% raise, you don't need a coach to do that. You probably would have gotten that without any coach's help. So if you've got a coach and you're only getting a 5% raise, the coach probably isn't having much impact on your ability to earn more income. Okay, fair enough. Well, let's say you get a 12% raise. Now the coach is impacting change better than you might have done on your own, but how much is it worth? The difference between 12 and 5%. That's 7%, 12 minus 5, 12% minus 5% is 7%. Let's say you give all the credit to your coaching partnership. 7% of 150 grand is, it's only about 13, 14 grand. So the investment netted you an extra 13 grand. Again, not astronomical numbers. What if, though, you took leaps, you took double and triple leaps in promotions and got a 25 or 30% increase in your pay? Oh, is that something you could have created or produced on your own? Chances not, or you would have done it by now. So that's when the coach gets credit. The money is one thing, but here's what you should expect. We're back to the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If you shift, design, redesign, or fully transform to the point where you're getting a large increase in salary and promotions, it's because you've become a different human being. You've transformed. Guess what? It also means the way you do one thing is the way you do another. Will you be a better life partner? Absolutely. Will you be a better parent? Yes. Will you be a better friend? Yes. Will you be a better volunteer? Will you be a better human being? You'll get all of those benefits. Chances are those will outweigh or at least equal the stated benefit you wanted. You wanted to get your income much increased, but all of the other benefits, either singularly or added together, will far exceed that increase in salary. If that makes sense? I hope so. But that's what you should expect from coaching. You should expect that your entire life changes, not just the one area that you're looking at. So if you heal a broken relationship, or let's say you want to find your ultimate life partner, the process of you shifting and transforming to attract and find your ultimate life partner will pay off huge dividends at your work, even though it's not a work-specific item. So expect that your life changes, not just your list of things you'd like to get. Your entire life should transform due to coaching. I know that's a broad statement and a big claim, but that's what you should expect from coaching. Your job is to be ready, willing, and able to show up and play full out. So I trust that this is helpful in you being able to hire the right coach for you. Who's the right coach? I would say it's a coach who offers a money-back guarantee, has a high return on investment, and gets you what you want, partners with you to get you what you want. Hey, I trust this is helpful, and if it is, please like and share this. Your friends will benefit from it as well, because they're probably thinking of coaching just like you are. Until we meet again on Pure Genius, all the best.